Rome Streetz.
Yo, yo.
Still getting ill, breaking necks in the Kumite.
Hell yeah. It ain't over. We just getting started.
Word up,
just
man.
Getting started.
I rock with the project, man. Death of Magician, released on Soul Assassin. I think it's tough, man. How did you guys get to?
Thank you, bro.
How did that come together? How did you link up with DJ Muggs? And...
we basically, I met him at a show, and actually at first he like followed me on Instagram. He was just liking my shit, and then Soul Assassins Radio started playing my shit, and then I met him at a show, and then he was like, "Yo, I fuck with your music, like I'm a fan." I was like, "Oh shit!" Like he was happy to meet me. That shit was kind of like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So then after that, I seen him at another show. And then I just DM'd him like, yo, good seeing you, because he pulled me out the crowd. Like, yo, Rome. I'm like, oh shit, like, nigga, DJ Muggs is picking me out the crowd. I'm like, all right. So then he was like, yo, if you got time, I'd like, wonder if you get on my album. I'm like, if I have time, like, bro, are you serious? Like, hell yeah, I got fucking time. So he just started sending me shit. And then I just started rapping over everything. Like, fuck it. I mean, it's like, yo, pick a beat. I'm like, bro, like, who the hell has a beat pack from DJ Muggs? Like, I'm rapping over everything. Fuck that. So, like, I started just busting moves on all the songs. And I sent it to him. He's like, yo, this shit is hard. He just kept sending me beats. He's like, we might as well just do an album, bro. I'm like, yeah, it seems like that. So I just kept cooking. And he was like, yo, come out to LA. Like, that's the only way you could finish this. Coming out here. I'm like, all right, bet. So I went out to LA. You know what I'm saying? We chopped it up. You know what I mean? We shot a couple videos. I mean, just put it together.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. I mean, I love the feel of it all. It feels like fresh. It's vintage. It's awesome, man.
Thank you.
So you lived in several different places. You lived in London for a little while in high school, right?
Yeah. I lived in London for like 3 years. Word.
And that was, to me, I lived in Europe in the early 2000s, and I remember Garage and Grime were like coming up around that time. Do you remember that era?
I was there when that shit first started. I was there when that shit first started happening. I remember when Dizzy Rascal first came out, all that shit, because it's like, coming from New York, all I fuck with is like, you know what I'm saying, hip hop. So over there, it was just different. Like, I liked it. You get what I'm saying? I was interested in it. Like, yo, this shit's hard. You know what I'm saying? So then when I started going to school over there, like all the kids in school, that's how they rap. So I'm like, oh, this what y'all do? Like, I went to the fucking, like, the playground and show these niggas was rapping. I'm like, okay. He was like, yo, you rap? I'm like, yeah, I rap. So I start spitting. Motherfuckers like, oh shit, like this shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody raps like, you know what I mean? Old niggas from London. I'm from New York, so I already have the sound. Like, I already got the accent, everything. You know what I'm saying? That was cool. Like, but the only thing is, nobody rapped like that. So it was just like no competition. It was nothing to like feed me to get better. Like, every time I'll go back to New York for the summertime, I'll just be battling niggas all over the city, like just running around rapping. But when I go back to London, it was like, so I was really like loving that sound, you know what I'm saying? So trust me, I fuck with that shit heavy.
Were they battling in London? Did you see guys battling like Grime MCs?
Hell yeah, I would go to the shit. Like, all the niggas in my school, like, it's crazy because like after a while, it wasn't really too many people like doing what I did. So I started doing that shit too. Up there. So I used to battle niggas in that shit too. We used to go around different schools, different like, they like out there, they think it's like youth centers. Like, every neighborhood got like their community center where all the kids be at shit. So we used to go all around and just battle niggas. Word. So that's how like I was able to like rap fast and shit.
Word.
Like, that kind of just like opened up that ability for me.
For people who aren't aware or who haven't been to London or aren't familiar with Grime, what would you say is the difference between Grime or UK style hip hop versus what we got here?
I would say right now, the example, like, you see the beats Pop Smoke rap over?
Yep.
They've been making beats, that's Grime. That's Grime. It's just now they call it UK drill, but it's really Grime. It's the same beat tempo, same sensibility. That's what it sounds like. They're just rapping faster with a fucking London accent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's their organic version of hip hop. Like, you know how hip hop started in the Bronx, just niggas DJing and the motherfucker just saying random shit over the song. That's how that shit started. At first, it just started niggas just saying random nothing over the beat, and then niggas start saying lyrics, and then it just became like, now it's just all about the bars. You know what I'm saying? So I watched that shit like organically grow. So that's their organic version of hip hop in a way, but it's not hip hop, but it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just call it grime. It evolved from like jungle. Like they have this sound called jungle music, and it like drum and bass. Then they have housing and what they call house and garage. You know what I'm saying? Then it evolved from house and garage to garage, then garage evolved to grime. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's what I remember. I remember this group called Soul Solid Crew I used to rock with.
Mm-hmm.
They had a joint called 21 Seconds of Blow. I used to love that joint.
That was the first shit that I heard from the niggas. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? I remember watching that video on the TV. I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. Yo, it's crazy. That was the first shit that introduced me to grime. And it wasn't even doing grime. That was garage.
Yeah, that was garage.
Word.
And it's spelled
I
garage.
remember that shit. Hell yeah.
For people who don't know how to spell garage, it's spelled garage.
But that's how they pronounce garage in London, garage. That's how they pronounce garage over there.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
crazy.
Because one of my homeboys from out there, he's a big rapper now. This nigga named Cass is Dead. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but that's my man. Like, that's my homie.
That's what's up.
Okay.
You guys
he was actually signed to Dizzy Rascal, I think. Word.
Do you guys collaborate? You guys do tracks together?
Oh, we got a track, but he ain't put it out yet. I don't know why, but we got a song.
I feel like it's a good time to have those relationships, right? Because like you mentioned Pop Smoke earlier, they call New York drill basically to mean, like you described, that's a bunch of grime beats, or at least tempo.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I'm saying, and then just establishing those relationships over. Like the thing is, like when my idea when I first came into this shit, like before I was even into the underground shit, it was just like, you know what? How do I expand my fan base instead of just trying to like work in New York? Because one thing about New York is like we always say that New York be the last person. New York starts loving you once everywhere else loves you. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, if I do a tape with this producer from, you know, Spain or Toronto or somewhere, all that's gonna do is open up that area to me, because that person that lives there got their own fan base. So it's like I had that idea from early. You know what I'm saying? Like early in my career when motherfuckers started to know about me. You know what I'm saying? I've been rapping for mad long. Like
I feel like you're hitting a great wave right now, though. You know what I mean? Like I remember, I think I probably first heard your name around like maybe 2011, 12, 13, something like that. And
that's crazy.
You had I used to be on Dat Piff all the time. There was a tape on there, I think it's called Vagabond. I think that's what I had.
Vagabond, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, you know, I lived in New York then. I moved out to LA. I've been covering hip hop for the past 10 years.
That was like my first tape, Vagabond.
Yeah. And now, you know, everything you're doing, in my opinion, it's got so much imagination, but it's also at a really, really high level. And to see you working with Soul Assassins, to see you with DJ Muggs, to see some of your cosigns to me is a product of how talented you are, but how hard you've been working. Does it feel like you traveled really far yet? Does it feel like you're just getting here, or does it feel like you've been around for a minute?
I put like this. I'm just getting here, but in life, I've been around. You get what I'm saying? Like, I always been rapping like this. It was just, I wasn't in. You get what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't in this shit. But as far as just musically, I've been fucking writing rhymes since I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? So I've been like creating music time, but as far as like my career, people just started to know about me. We just getting started. Trust me.
I like the film you guys put together, the Death of Magician film. I thought that was
dope.
Yeah, it was dope. I mean, there was also a history of film and cinema at the same time, which I thought was really fresh. And so I asked you this question, man. What gets you killed faster? Too much love, trust, or truth?
Really, there's no wrong answer to that, because That's why I said, what's the difference between Malcolm Martin and Huey Newton? Like they all died for, like, as far as too much love. That's Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying? He loved everybody. He was very peaceful, and he still died. You know what I'm saying? And he still got killed. Look at Malcolm X. He was telling the fucking truth. You understand what I'm saying? He was telling the truth. And then it was like Huey P, he died trying to stop a drug deal. So it was like just too much trust. Like it was just like, you understand what I'm saying? Niggas fucked with him, but they still killed him. He was for black people and he still fucking died. You understand what I'm saying? By the hands of a black person. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, there's no right or wrong answer to that shit. It was just some shit that I thought of. Like, you know what? Because it's like, yo, too much trust could get you killed. Too much love could get you killed. Telling the truth could get you killed. And it's examples of all of that in history. You know what I'm saying?
That's a weighty bar right there, man. I mean, it's a hard way to open a track, of course, but like, just my thoughts started going in the same direction. You know, I started asking myself, you know, and I think that's the thing that sticks with me about your music. Is like I find myself lingering on things that you say longer than, like, you'll be 4 bars down the road and I'm still thinking about something you said before. You know what I mean? And that's not something that's common for me. And so I appreciate it about your music. I feel like this era right now is perfect for your style and perfect for your sound. You know what I mean? Like I looked at the Grammy Awards. If I look at the Grammy Awards, right? You look at the best rap album nominees this year, right? Now people are very critical of the Grammys, right? Especially when it comes to hip hop. But best rap album this year, you had Jay Electronica, Written Testimony, Nas King's Disease, D Smoke, Black Habits, Royce da 5'9", The Allegory, and Freddie Gibbs, The Alchemist. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That looks like they got it right to me. And if that's their representation of what the best albums are this year, I feel like there's a whole wave of artists like yourself that this is great timing.
And yeah, it is, because it's not far away. Like before, like just for me as an example, like with all the things that I wanted to do in music, years ago, it was far. Like I didn't know a person that knew a person that knew a person that knew somebody that could do some shit for me as far as musically. Whereas now it's like Alchemist is motherfucking nominated for a Grammy. Like I just did an album with the guy who taught him how to make beats. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not really that far. Like the degree of separation between me and a Grammy nomination is one person. Whereas before it may have been 10. You understand what I'm saying? Now it's like, it's here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a dope time. And I feel like, you know, even though I have been doing music for a long time, I feel like now is the perfect time. Like if I would have got in before, it probably wouldn't have had the same effect that it do now, because one, I know more, and two, the world is more receptive to this type of shit now. It was a time where it was just about club music. It was about the sing-songy shit. Like it still is about that shit, but it's a whole nother layer of like fan attraction where this is all they want to hear. Before it was like, oh, you need to make a song like this, bro. Or, yo, you ain't got this type of song. This is what's popping. You understand what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's the old school flow. You know what I'm saying? Like, now it's like, yo, like even today I was outside in the fucking city. You know what I'm saying? Just before this interview, I seen somebody wearing a Griselda shirt just in the city. Like, and I'm like, I walked past them and shit, and in my mind, I'm like, yo, I have my mask on, but it's like, that motherfucker, it's a high percent chance that he's heard my shit. Like, he doesn't even know that he's walking past Rome Streetz. He probably listened to me. You understand what I'm saying? But it's like, it's close. It's close. It's close. Yeah. So now is the perfect time. Trust me.
Yeah, I think that's a great example. You know what I'm saying?
Because I put it like this. Even back like a couple years ago, I felt like I was the only person rapping like this. Besides like certain motherfuckers, I felt like, yo, there's no market for this type of music that I make, even though I'm still making it. You understand what I'm saying? It's not really a big universe for it. It's like everybody's focused on this shit. It's like super underground. You're just making it because you like to make it. You understand what I'm saying? There's no lane for it where it's visible, where you can sustain a music career making, like rapping like this. now it's evident you could do it. You understand what I'm saying? So now was a great time.
Who's the first cat that you remember during your run while you were coming up? Let's say since 2000, since Vagabond, we'll say. Like, who was an example of an artist at that point in time that was making and selling that type of rap, that type of hip hop that you make as well?
Who I was listening to around that time, while I was making that, I could say the only artist, even though there was people doing it, I wasn't tapped in. So the only person that I visibly saw that was doing something was probably like fucking Action Bronson. You understand what I'm saying? But I wasn't too tapped into it. At that time when I was making Vagabond and all shit, I was listening to fucking I was still listening to Max B. I was listening to fucking ASAP and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I didn't even feel like there was any rappers that was doing what I was doing, besides like Jay-Z or fucking Jay Electronica and shit like that. That's all I was listening to. I didn't even know about Rock Marciano back then. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't. I found out about Rock Marciano the same day I found out about Griselda. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I would just randomly just found the shit on SoundCloud and I'm like, oh shit, this shit is hard. And I just let it play and I just was like, oh, who the fuck is this? I was like, oh, this nigga's rapping. Like, yo, that shit inspired me to make raps. Like, oh, it's a bunch of motherfuckers rapping. Like, I just let the playlist play. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, these motherfuckers is rapping like me. Like, it's a thing, okay. So I just started making shit. You know what I'm saying? And it turned into this.
Word up.
But it wasn't far off of what I was already doing. You know what I'm saying? But around that time, it wasn't nobody that I could say I was that. I mean, there's only a couple people.
Yeah.